Is this not distracting? Or is it not?
Hi there, voiceover Anastasia here. I forgot to film an intro for this video, and as I'm editing, it is about 28 minutes long, so I'm giving you this voiceover intro, and you're welcome, I'm cutting this into 2 videos. We're gonna start this week with threading the top part of the machine. I think this is what a lot of people think is more challenging, and then next week, we'll talk about how to fill a bobbin with new thread, and then how to thread a machine with that bobbin. Enjoy! So this is my sewing machine. We will go over more details of the sewing machine, including how you actually get it going, but something that's a very important part of the process is knowing how to thread your machine. And we're gonna go from navy to pink. It was the thread I had on hand that looked like it had the most on the spool. You don't care, it's fine. So this machine is currently threaded with navy. We've got the spool up here and we've got the bobbin down here. You can see the little holes in the little wheel. So we have 2 separate threads down here. This is our top thread coming from our spool, and this is our bottom thread coming from our bobbin. You can see the bobbin spinning. I'm going to take the spool out. We've got this stopper thing to hold the spool on. If you don't have one of these, oh my gosh, it gets so frustrating. Like if you lose this, you'll want to figure out something that's non-adhesive, because otherwise it's gonna mess up your, well, I guess it might be okay, but just something to keep your spool on here, because as it's pulling, eventually this is gonna move off, and it's just not great. So here we are. I like to slide this guy back on so I don't lose it, because I'm good at that. Losing things, I mean. And then you just pull. Now, sometimes as you're pulling, it might feel tight. If you get any significant resistance, I mean, if you get a little bit of resistance, that just means your machine was threaded correctly. But if you get a lot of resistance, then that might be because, let's push out here again. Machines have this manual, you know, there's the presser foot that like moves it all. We'll get to that, but there's this manual turner. And for every machine, most machines, when you turn it towards you, your machine operates in the correct direction. It's like going forward. So you may be able to see the, you know, the needles going down, coming back up, going down, coming back up. And if you turn it the other way, it goes backwards. I do not recommend manually turning it backwards very often, because that can gum up the works. It's sort of like putting your car into park when you're still moving. It's not good. But if you are having resistance that feels more than just like a little bit of tension, move your manual turner towards you until your needle is up out of this like beneath bobbin chamber, no man's land where this magic sewing stuff happens. And then your thread should come straight out. So now what I want to show you about this machine, this I think is so cool. Okay, so lots of settings on here that we'll talk about. Here's our spool, and if we look around, we can see, what are you there? Number 1 and number 2, and it points this way. That's a 5, we don't need that. Oh, number 3, coming down. Hey, 4, going back around. 5, ooh, and back down again. I'm not really surprised, I've done this before. And then 6, and down further. I don't think there are other numbers, but you can ignore these guys for now. We're gonna thread through that, and then I'll show you down here how these guys go. Hopefully I can do that with my hand. You can see how dusty it is, which is like not great, you know? Labels come off on these things all the time. If you're doing a project where you think you might need to purchase more, take a picture. Take a picture. So when I am putting the thread on here, if you'll notice, this end of the spool has a sharp part here, where the thread, I'm doing this one-handed, tucks in. That's how you keep it from just like unraveling itself. And then the other side does not have that. So I like to make sure that the side that does not have it, little stopper guy off, side that does not, does not, put this on there. And then put this on there. And also you notice that I untrapped that guy from the sharp stoppery part. So let's follow our numbers. 1, I'm doing this
I'm doing this left-handed and single-handed, so you got this, okay? Unless you have one hand and it is, well, if you have one hand, it is your dominant hand, right? But you're also probably far more skilled at using your one hand than I am at using either of my hands. Alas, I might have to, okay, yes. So we've got that in there, right? See? Okay. So that's 1, 2 comes in here, goes through there. See how it'll figure itself out. And then 2, 3 comes down here, 4 goes around, 5 comes up. Now I want to show you something so you can get a better idea on 5. If I keep moving this handle towards me, eventually this guy comes out to say hello. Let's get that guy back out again. Hi, friend. So when we're coming up to do 5, it's because we're going around this guy. Oh, there's all my junk back there. And then, not all my junk, am I right? Okay, so now that we've got this guy down here, we will come, can I show you this? Yeah. We're in there. There's a hook there. I'm gonna pause for a second here because that's just the paint by numbers part of this machine. So most machines have up, down, up. I don't know why that's the thing, but every machine that I've threaded has had some up, down, up. I think that's part of how the tension is created and calibrated, part of the stitch length, all that business, part of how the sewing machine makes its adjustments. On your machine, there will very likely be some from the spool to some sort of starting grippy guy, and then down and up around some sort of arm, and then back down, and eventually you're going to the needle. So down here I have 2 more guides before I actually get to the needle. This one, which, can we see behind that little hook thing? Kind of, okay. And then there's one here. See if I can get you a side view. Might see some of my filming equipment, but you know, everybody knows what that looks like now, right? Because like internet and stuff. So this is, again, difficult to do one-handed. I'm gonna show you how much easier it is to do it two-handed, but I'm still gonna do it one-handed. This is my dominant hand though now. Am I cheating? Okay, we're in. So we're in this guide and then down that guide, and now we're going in the needle. Now I do want to tell you about the needles. Some needles face front to back, where you can see the hole right here is facing front to back. Some needles, the hole goes side to side. The important thing is that your bobbin and your needle thread go the same direction. So if your bobbin thread goes that way, your needle thread goes that way. And also it pretty much always goes that way, away from the tower. It pretty much goes out. It's a relatively safe bet. Also, it is not recommended, although this is more for hand sewing, but it is not recommended that you put this in your mouth. You know, if this is, if this is, you know, fraying, you can't even, you can see how dry my skin is. You can't even see the thread, whatever. If this is super frayed and it's hard for you to get it through the eye of the needle, then you just trim off some and it'll get there. But see how like it's holding its own, like it's got some strength to it, and then you just kind of wiggle it in. There we go. There also are like machine threader or like any kind of needle threader things. Oh, I'm glad it did this. That you can like, if you're worried about threading, then just Google needle threader and you can get something. But you can do, I think you can do it. It just takes some practice. So here you can see that we're kind of like wrapped up, right? We've got the thread. This happens a lot. So usually all that needs to happen is the thread needs to come down and go to the other side of the needle. And that sets us straight. Did you see what I did there? It's like, I don't even know if I can mess it up again. I mean, I can. I just don't know that I can mess it up on purpose. Yeah, see, that's messed up on purpose. So I do, got some fuzz. So I take the thread from above the needle, not the thread coming out, but the thread from above the needle, and just take it under the needle. And then we're good. Yes, love. So now I'm going to show you how I can thread a machine when I have both hands. So I'm just winding it back onto the spool. Anytime I'm going through one of the touch points, I like to hold the machine with the loose thread in my left hand and the part that's connecting to the spool in my right hand. So I snap it in there, pull that through, grab again, snap it in here. That came up. And then we'll come down here, back up. And this one again, we've got to go around. And then down here, I hold this guy taut, but the other direction though, right? The loose thread, the one that's going forward in my right hand, once we come down here, because then I can push it behind the thing it's got a grasp on. And then, see, already just pulling it back out of the machine. Also, there's sometimes like fuzz in the needle's eye, but I'll just pulling it out of the machine, it already, I feel like, lost its sharp tip. Why did I say it weird like that? And then you thread it through. I like to hold this side here so that I don't get it wrapped around the needle like I did. And that's it.
Hey, guess what? I didn't film an outro either. So Editing Anastasia is here to say thank you for watching. Next week, we're going to talk about how to fill a bobbin and thread the bobbin portion of your machine. Here's a little sneak peek into that. To make sure you catch that video and all future videos on learning how to sew for very, very beginners, please subscribe if you like this video. Please like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.